Hello, I welcome you all on behalf of Dental Surgeons Association of India. So today we have a very special guest, Mr. Prashant Bhushan. Of course, who doesn't know him? He is a great social activist and an eminent public interest lawyer in Supreme Court of India. Action speaks louder than word. He has always stood for the nation building. Whether being a member of India Against Corruption and fighting for Lokpal Bill, he has always been a firm believer of transparency and uncorrupted system in India. He has authored many books like The Case That Shook the World, Bofors, The Selling of the Nation. His father was also a union cabinet minister in the Morarji Desai government. He was law minister. He has fought many cases for the nation building. Whether it's a suit against Government of India in 2G spectrum case or illegal allocation of coal, or it is against the illegal extraction of iron ore in Goa. We are very thankful to Mr. Prashant Bhushan to accept the invitation to come on Dental Surgeons Association of India news channel. We have discussed very important points. We discussed about the current situations of dental surgeons in India, and we have also discussed what we can do to safeguard the interest of the dental surgeons of India. We have also sought his help in terms of law to safeguard your interest. We also discussed about the PIL, which we can use to safeguard your interest. Do watch this full video. There are very important things which are coming up in this video. So stay tuned. I welcome you all on behalf of Dental Surgeons Association of India. So today we have a very special guest. He doesn't need any introduction. He is a public interest lawyer in Supreme Court of India and has been into many cases for the nation building. He was a team member of India Against Corruption and also been a founder of Swaraj Abhiyan. So there's a lot of things. If I start reading about, it would take a lot of time. I mean, if I talk about Dr. Robin Malik as well, he was also a part of India Against Corruption and fighting very hard for the nation. So, sir, since you know that the healthcare system is very important for any country to stand, and right now we are actually experiencing like we need a strong healthcare system. So what do you consider that what is the role of oral health care and the dentist for a country, since the government has started the selling tobacco recently? So India is a leading cause of cancer. I mean, there's a lot of people who are dying because of the oral cancer. So is it the right time, and we should do something about that?
No, in my view, it is certainly not the right time. There is no right time to start selling tobacco. In fact, tobacco should be very strongly curbed. In India, it's not just a cause of oral cancer, it's a cause of all kinds of cancer. In my view, even cigarettes should be strongly curbed. And those who say that no tobacco farmers should be allowed to survive, etc. You can't allow tobacco farmers to survive at the cost of so many lives. Now, so far as this opening of dental clinics and other healthcare services are concerned, see, I've been studying and reading a lot about this COVID and coronavirus, and my understanding about it is as follows. Coronavirus is more infectious than ordinary flu virus, but it is in many ways just as serious or less serious than the flu virus. So I was saying that you see, the vast majority of the people remain asymptomatic, and in India the problem is going to be much less serious than it has been in the northern countries. So in my view, there was no justification for a lockdown, and there is still no justification for even continuing lockdown or stopping dental services or any other health services, etc. Because even if people get infected, virtually very few people will have any symptoms or will have any problems. And that happens with every disease. See, in India, every year more than 4 lakh people die of tuberculosis. More than 3 lakh people die of common flu. So many people die of various things. In this lockdown, you are going to kill far more people due to hunger, malnutrition, uh, and various other problems. People are not able to access healthcare like dental care. I mean, people who have serious dental problems, they are not being able to go to their dentists, etc. Other people who have other problems are not being able to access healthcare with this lockdown going
Very
on
true.
and all the beds being reserved for COVID patients, which is not necessary at all.
Sir, since you have seen that there was a panic situation, I mean, if I talk specifically about dentistry, Dr. Robin Malik is running a campaign, Save Dentist, Save Dentistry. So what we have seen is that already the employment and education ratio is very much hampered in dentistry. I mean, there are
Yeah,
around 2,77,000 registered dentists at this time, and somewhere around
yeah,
312 dental colleges. So,
yeah,
because most of the dental surgeons are dependent upon the private clinics, because there are no jobs in government sector, even in the private sector, there is a very restricted job for the dentist. So, what is your take on that? Because Dr. Robin Malik is actually having a lot of dental surgeons calling him on ground reality because taking an education, they spend a lot of money, and after that also they have to spend money for opening up a clinic. I mean, the situation for a healthcare, which is an integral part of allopathic system. Don't you see that condition will deteriorate more because the panic is actually taking away a lot of professions?
yes, of course, of course. I mean, every profession, virtually every profession is being very adversely affected. Not just profession, I mean, all kinds of healthcare is being seriously affected. And as I said, there is no justification for doing this because
Correct.
if you closely examine the morbidity, mortality, etc., from all this, it's not more serious. It's certainly not more serious than common flu in terms of
Correct.
total morbidity, etc.
I mean, you can definitely give the blame to the education system because dentists are left behind. They are not given any education on the health laws. They are not giving any education on the management. And ultimately, they have only one thing remaining, that open up a clinic. And absolutely, you are correct. If the system is lacking, then we are going to suffer because dentistry is a most recognized and very important field of medicine. So, sir, along with that, I would like Dr. Robin Malik to tell you about his campaign, Save Dentist, Save Dentistry, because we are running a campaign and we have done a survey. Because there are a lot of dental surgeons, but one number of quack, it is very high. And in this particular situation, they are actually doing the treatments without protocols and all. I mean, this is also a medium of spread because we are running some campaigns and we are running some surveys at a ground level. Dr. Malik, you want to add on something on that particular
Well, I think
topic?
the system is like we have to be like when we speak about healthcare, we are talking about the strong healthcare system. But when we have in our country, when you have quacks working in the on the ground level, the most of the people are they are fooled by their degrees, with their boards, and because the common men don't know are they qualified or not. So what the government is doing, that is a big question because we have closed our clinics to prevent the spread of the COVID-19, but they are still opening and without the protocols. I think that's a really we have to think about.
You're absolutely right. You see, this dental education is supposed to be regulated by the Dental Council. So, I mean, the government should have normally, just as they superseded the medical council, they should have superseded this dental council also and appointed a set of good administrators who had some experience and knowledge of dentistry. Some good top dentists and others should have been appointed
Correct.
as the administrators for this dental council.
Because what I feel is that the Dental Council of India is responsible for the policies for the healthcare system in the dentistry, and we are lag behind the policies because there are no new things in the policy. We are just following the same system of 50-year-old dental law. We are just following it. So we need to transform it with time and as per the requirement of the country. And so because of that, the young dental surgeons, the population of the country is suffering. The students are suffering. That is the main reason. I think they have to be look into it. The council is there to safeguard the health of the system, to safeguard the interest of the dental surgeons, but they are not doing that.
dental council and not really interested in the welfare of dentistry or the people of this country. Unfortunately, this has been the situation even in the medical council for some time. Even in the bar council, we have a similar situation.
Sir, being you are like very senior lawyer, so I just want to know, like, on the as we all know about the reality, can we go for a public interest litigation on the issues that we are facing today? Should we go for that?
Can be done. What you can do is you can formulate whatever you feel that needs to be done, and then we can examine whether it's viable or not.
Sir, I mean, new reforms are coming. National Dental Commission is coming. We were hearing in the news. National Medical Commission is already there, and they wanted to put up national exit test in that, because after passing the BDS, we should have a national level examination to the practice. So, what do you want to say about this step? Is it a welcome step, or it will actually correct the situation of the dentists in the country?
It depends on what kind of dental commission they form. See, we've experimented with these elected bodies and we have found that there are all kinds of problems with the elected dental council, bar council, medical council, etc. If the government needs to set up a commission, it should be set up in a transparent manner, and was saying that it will depend upon what kind of dental commission is set up by the government. It needs to be done in a somewhat transparent and a broad-based manner, so that we get some credible people in it. If the government alone nominates, then there will be a problem. It should be the selection of the members of the dental commission should be by a broad-based body of credible institutions and people. Then only can we get a proper and credible dental commission.
So when
about national exam may not be a bad idea, so long as the exam is conducted by a proper body. May be a good idea.
We have got the NEET national examination for the eligibility test for the PM, all the admissions in medical colleges and dental colleges. But what is happening? Due to the people are not qualifying the exam, and every time the government just decrease the eligibility criteria for the percentile, so that the seats of the private colleges are fulfilled, because otherwise they were vacant. But to benefit the colleges, private colleges, they just degrade they bring down the eligibility criteria to a lower, so that everyone can get the admission. So what's the use of getting a national exam if we are not following the standards of that which we aim?
Yeah, I agree. There should be a proper standard, and it should not be downgraded just in order to fill up these seats of these bogus private. Most of these private medical colleges are bogus. They need to be shut down. They are just shops.
And sorry to say, and I would like to mention that today we have degrees on the correspondence also. People are not going to the colleges; they are just paying the fees and they are sitting at home, or they are getting degrees within a time period. They just go for the exam and all. And then we have the visiting faculty in the dental colleges and medical colleges. Because when the faculty will be visiting, then who will teach them? How the student will learn?
Yeah, I agree with you that most of these dental colleges are bogus. They need to be just shut down.
Exactly. But sir, what is the plan? What should be the plan to actually reform these things? Should more government colleges be open, or there should be proper control on the private colleges? What is your suggestion for that? If we talk about the future of dentistry or medical profession?
In my view, more publicly funded or government funded dental colleges should be open. And I'm not saying that private colleges should not be allowed. They should be allowed. But there should be a proper regulation. It should be by a credible body. If you have a credible dental commission, then
Sir, Dental Surgeons Association of India has more than a lakh dental surgeons are connected with. And Dr. Malik has been running this campaign since more than a decade now. And he also fought the election, but couldn't succeed there. So, sir, what are your suggestions for Dr. Robin Malik? Because it's a body which has been existing for last 10 years and more than lakh dentists. Because if 90% dentists are not happy with the system which is there, so what is the use of that? And can you suggest Dr. Robin Malik for that particular situation? What he can go for that?
So, I mean, if you have a membership of 1 lakh dental surgeons in your association, it's a very strong and powerful body which can certainly lend a lot of weight to any campaign that you start. So therefore, you should start a campaign for reforming the whole business of dental education, dentistry, etc. You should come out with all your suggestions and run a public campaign to put pressure, to build public opinion, to put pressure on the government, to put pressure on all the public authorities. And we can also explore the possibility of a PIL on this.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Because the employment condition is really bad. I mean, there are no government jobs. And if government can provide jobs at the CHC, PHC level also, because there are no recruitments. And even the quacks are filling the shoes of the dentist in rural areas. So, I mean, actually speaking, the oral health mission is not working properly on the ground.
Yeah, I can understand that. I know that that's true for the medical education in general, and it's must be true for dentistry also.
Correct, correct. Dr. Malik, would you want to say something about your anti-quackery drive?
Well, we have just, sir, I just want to share that we have started collecting the data of the dental quacks working all over the India, and soon we will write to the authorities about the quacks. And if they don't take action within a 1 month or 2 months period, then we will surely go to the court to have the action on that, because authorities are sleeping, so we have to wake them up. Otherwise, it will be in a very bad situation we are going to.
So the only thing is that if you are saying that qualified dentists are not willing to work in the rural areas, then what happens to people in the rural areas who have dental problems? So naturally, these quacks fill in that vacuum.
Bridge course for the dental surgeons to the medical fraternity, so that where we can train our dental surgeons for a shorter time, like for 1 year or 1 or 2 years, and then they can be allowed to work in the rural areas as a medical practitioner as well as a dental surgeon, and the government will get the workforce to work in the rural area on the primary health centers with a dentist as well as a medical practitioner. So they will work dual mode for the government, and that can be a boost to the health system. But that was not accepted in due to some political reasons and all. So
the Indian Medical Association was against it. Actually, they came on road and protested this particular step.
They feel that their jobs will go away.
Exactly. Even if you talk about dentistry, sir, it's a 5-long-year course. Then if you go for post-graduation, it takes around 3 years. I mean, the course is very long. Absolutely, you are correct that it's a very long period of time that we are utilizing the dentist into studies. And when we talk the subjects of dentistry, they study general medicine, general surgery, pharmacology. The subjects are absolutely similar. And if somebody say that the implication of education is not good in this particular colleges, then definitely there is no use of running college for 5 years. So what do you want to talk about the bridge course? Should it be done if the education system is so long in dentistry, or the education should be properly monitored in this particular regard?
See, in my view, there should be a shorter course, course of dentistry for teaching people whatever is required for primary dental care. So that there will be a lot more dentists who are equipped for primary dental care, and who can spread out in the rural areas also, can practice in the rural areas also for normal work. So, but for that also you need proper, mostly publicly funded government institutions. We certainly need more publicly funded government institutions, proper institutions for teaching dentistry, whether it is the shorter course or whether it is the longer course.
Sir, since more than a lakh dentists must be watching this video, so what is your suggestion to them? Because the young dental surgeons are jobless these days. In fact, if they get job in private colleges, sorry to say that they hardly get paid of around 10,000 rupees, which is way less than in a journal public as well. So, what is your suggestion, and how can you can motivate these people? Because they are keep calling Dr. Malik. The parents are calling because they are saying that after studying and spending so much of money, they don't have any job. Even some of the senior people don't consider them a doctor as well. So, yeah, Dr. Malik, you want to add on something?
And sir, I just want to bring to your notice that what is happening. I'm getting calls from Srinagar, basically Jammu and Kashmir, like from the past few days from the parents. What is happening? Like the dental surgeons who are passing out because the government from the 2008 there are no jobs in Kashmir from the government, and even a single vacancy was there in the Jammu and Kashmir. And what happens if a dental surgeon opens his own clinic or private clinic in Srinagar? But due to the scenario in the Srinagar, because they are mostly in the curfew for 4 or 5 months in a year, so they are not able to run even earn their bread and butter because they are already in 5 6 months they are in curfew. So that is when they are suffering. They are saying that we can't run our private clinics and government are not getting the vacancies for the dental surgeons. So what they should do? Because the parents have spent their hard-earned money to educate them, and now people are not getting married, they are not getting jobs, they are not able to earn their bread.
So we want to you to motivate them. I mean, what we can do if we can take the help of the law, how best we can do, and how can we console them? What is your suggestions on that?
No, so Kashmir, of course, the problem is very, very serious, and it's not merely for dentists; it's for everybody. It's very, very serious problem because of the curfew, because of this 9-month-old lockdown, which has been there for the last 9 months in Kashmir, and it seems to be endless now. So there, everybody is suffering and suffering enormously, not just dentists. So therefore, everybody should get together as civil society and raise their voice against this lockdown and stopping internet and curfew and so on. But so far as the rest of the country is concerned, I feel that if these dentists are qualified and proper dentists who are not being able to get any jobs right now, then groups of them should get together and open a cooperative or a community dental service. Some of them can go to the rural areas also and set up these dental services in the rural areas. Why should they not work in the rural areas? There is plenty of demand and need in the rural areas. So
Very true, sir.
therefore, and 4, 5, 6 people should together set up so that the expenses on each one of them is not that much, and each one of them does different kinds of things. So those are those. If I've seen that even among lawyers, young lawyers are getting together and setting up small law firms, or which are quite good, which are able to do cases in different courts and different tribunals and so on, and the cases between them. So that's the kind of thing that these young dentists should also do. Firstly, get together, form small firms or small cooperatives and work together. And secondly, also go to rural areas and work there.
Correct, correct. Since it's a democratic country, I mean, Sir has given a suggestion to all dentists to unite, because if we unite, and we can definitely save our interest. And in fact, that will be easier thing for Dr. Malik also, since he's leading them, because there are a lot of distribution. If we talk state-wise, a lot of colleges are there. Some people have different kind of rules, regulations. But if we unite, we can definitely change the face of the dentistry. Dr. Malik, you want to add something on that?
Well, I would just like to thank you, sir, for joining us and guiding us. And we will back to you with us for more discussion on the ground level. How can we do good for the fraternity? And we will in touch with you, sir. And we thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a comprehensive discussion with you.